think out of all the first-time goalies, Shesterkin is the best.
Shesterkin is the best?
Igor!
Out of all the goalies that are in the All-Star game, I believe he's the best.
Sorokin has been better than he has been all year. How could you say that Shesterkin is the best? He's really been the 5th or 6th best goalie. Last year, he was fantastic. This year, Sorokin's right now in the top 3. Ullmark has been the best goalie this year. It hasn't even been close.
I would add Jake Oettinger in that mix.
If you look at the 3 best goalies going to be up for the goaltender of the year, Sorokin's number 3 right now. You have the Boston goaltender and Oettinger. To say Shesterkin's the best, he was the best last year. This year, he's not.
Not one of those names that I know. But I could be betting the final 4 teams in the NHL playoffs, and I would only then probably know who the goalies are. But don't you, as an all-star, don't you always get a little credit for the year before? If we're equal, and we both have the same year, but last year you didn't have a good year, and I had a good year or a great year last year, they kind of sometimes ride on their own coattails, don't they?
They do, but Vasilevskiy has been the best goalie in the NHL for 9 years. Untouchable. But in the last year and a half, Shesterkin, last year winning goaltender of the year, he had a fantastic year. But this year, he started off very, very slow. He started to pick up the pace before the All-Star break, and he's been very, very good. But has he been the best? No.
Hey, I'm down
not
to 29.
Close.
I'm going all the way down to the 42nd goalkeeper on the standings, the stat sheets. I don't see one Italian name.
No. Consistency is what you want to look for. And the most consistent goalie in the NHL is Vasilevskiy. He's not having a good year. This is the first year. Vasilevskiy is not in the top 5, but that has a lot to do with the young talent that is in the NHL.
I agree with you about Vasilevskiy, but Shesterkin's had some big goal losses. Just capability and the way that he's going to show up in the playoff. We're talking regular season. The Rangers have had some weird losses. I keep making deposits on the Rangers to win the conference because I think come playoff time, he's going to show up, and so are they. They got a great roster when they're healthy, but they have odd losses, and I realize it was Halak, but they lost 5-2 to Chicago. Who loses to Chicago, let alone 5-2? The Rangers just have some weird moments where the defense isn't showing up, and he's in odd position.
Shesterkin, how many playoffs has he been in?
1.
He's been in 1. And his first round last year, was it a good first round? He was horrible against the Pittsburgh Penguins. If the Rangers would have lost that first round, it would have been because of him. The second and third round, he played fantastic. He kept up with Vasilevskiy. Vasilevskiy out-goaltended him in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's one of the reasons why Tampa won. In the second round, he was fantastic. Am I going to bet that Shesterkin is going to have an unbelievable playoff run? He is not Henrik Lundqvist. I agree with you. He's a great goaltender. He's a top 5 goalie right now in the NHL. The best? I'm sorry, I would disagree with you.
Out of the goalies in this All-Star. The New York guy is fighting against his own guy.
I really don't think he's a top 3 goaltender in this All-Star game.
Errol had mentioned it's a weird week, and one of the things that I've always done this week in my shows is futures. Who's going to win? You're still getting some double-digit odds on the good teams. Did you have the Lightning?
Last year, I liked Carolina, and I liked Florida.
I had the Avalanche,
Yeah.
Carolina, and I had Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup.
I write for Vegas Insider. If these guys are kind enough to put money in my account, the least I could do is use them and prop them up a little bit because they do some great stuff. But they've got it now as Boston plus 480. Now that's a team that started incredibly hot.
They're still hot. And
They've only lost 7 games.
What do you think, Wes? Plus 480 is a really high number. That's like a Kentucky Derby favorite when you see those numbers, right?
There's value, and if it ended right now, they'd be playing against Pittsburgh. That matchup, the records don't matter. That becomes pretty bloody. You just can't count out some of those players in Pittsburgh. But that's value. Plus 480 for the number 1 seed in the conference, the best record in the league. The Western Conference, the top 3, I don't believe in as much as I do in the East.
The only downside about having a Boston Bruins future is that you got to listen to Boston people. And they're obnoxious. People bash Philly, and I've known guys from both. I like the Boston guys better than the Philly guys, but I don't really like the Boston guys. I just like them better than the Philly guys.
They're obnoxious. And by the way, just because Boston has the best record and they're dominating right now does not mean they're winning the Stanley Cup. Hockey is so wishy-washy.
Well, if you look, the Rangers are 20, Edmonton's 18, Vegas 15, Jersey 14, Dallas 15, Tampa Bay 12. Remember, Tampa Bay, they won 2 in a row, and they were like 7-1 the third year.
The year that St. Louis won the Cup, I believe they were the 5 seed.
Yeah, they were third in their division, I think 5th overall.
Well, that was the year the kid won all that money on the future bet. St. Louis like $150 at like 1,500 to 1 or something.
This is an odd year. Everything is in the East. All the top points in the top teams appear to be in the East, and it's almost not fair because if you were to take 2 or 3 of the teams out of the East, like if you were to remove even New Jersey and Carolina,
maybe we should call the CFL, Wes, and have them do that crossover.